Welcome to this very special class. Today we are going to practice leg behind the head. This is an advanced practice and we're going to warm up our body to later on practice or try leg behind the head. You can do this practice also without having the skill yet. That's okay. So let's stand up, let's stretch up from side to side, loosen up our shoulders, and then come to the front of our mat. Standing up nice and tall, feet grounded to the floor. And then rise up with your arms, lift them up, and exhale, forward fold. Maybe bending your knees quite a bit yet. Straight back preparation pose. Forward fold again and inhale, rise up, lift up your arms, palms together and hands to your side. Inhale, lift your entire body, side stretch to one side, grabbing the wrist to the other side, legs, arms straight, core engaged. Lift up, maybe little back bend. Be careful with your back at the beginning of the practice and then bend your knees forward fold. Lift preparation pose and exhale. Step back with your right leg. Just come into a lunge. Place down your knee. Lift up your chest just high and then step back into plank. Feet are together. And then knees, chest, chin, or forehead on the ground. We start slow into a little cobra pose. Legs are very engaged. And then come back through a child's pose with extended arms and then into your first downward facing dog. Step forward with your right leg, lunge, placing down your knee, lifting up your chest, maybe your head, and then step forward, forward fold. Inhale, lift up your arms, little back bend, and exhale, hands in front of your heart. Inhale, lift up your arms, maybe a little back bend, and forward fold. Preparation pose, draw on your belly, and then forward fold. Step back with your left leg, knee on the ground, lift up your arms, extend them up, and then placing your hands down, step back, plank, knees, chest, chin, or forehead. Glide through cobra into child's pose with the extended arms, and then into a downward facing dog. I find this very soothing for the back. Inhale, left leg comes to the front, open up your chest, lift up your arms. Exhale, hands to the floor, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, rise up all the way, lifting up your arms, side stretch to one side and to the other side. Lift up your arms and come down in Utkatasana immediately, chair pose, and then forward fold from here. Inhale, preparation pose. Exhale, step back, plank pose, and slowly through chaturanga. Hold it and come into upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog, drawing in your belly. Step forward, right leg, warrior one. Lift up your arms, engage your core. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back through chaturanga, upward facing dog to a downward facing dog. Draw in your belly. And then left leg comes forward, warrior one. And exhale, placing your hands down, plank through chaturanga, upward facing dog to a downward facing dog. Stay here, breathe deeply, soothe and calm your breath. Really drawing in your belly. Now, step or jump forward, preparation pose, and forward fold. Utkatasana, inhale, lift up, nice and deep, and exhale, hands to your side. Inhale, come through chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, preparation pose. And then jump or step back. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog. Step forward with the right leg. Warrior one, really draw on your belly, lift up your chest. And come into warrior two. Open up maybe feet a little bit wider. And then come into a side body stretch, placing the right hand on your knee. Nice straight line from your fingertips to the feet. Your little pinky is facing further down. Now come back into peaceful warrior. And then move through, step back. We're opening it up a little bit here. In our lunge, high lunge, extend your arms up and then placing your hands down and coming through chaturanga, upward facing dog to a downward facing dog. Step forward with your left leg. Extend your arms up, lift up your chest, lift up your core. Everything is engaged, belly button drawn in. And then come into a warrior two. Nice deep warrior. Placing your left hand onto your knee, come into a side angle. Make sure the outside of your back leg is pushing into the floor. Now come into a high lunge, lift up your arms, really draw that heel down, and then placing your hands down, come through chaturanga, upward facing dog, into a into a downward facing dog. Breathe. Draw in your belly. Smooth out your breath. And then look forward and come into a pigeon pose on the right side. So right leg is extended forward, and I'm opening up my hip right away. You can keep it a little bit closer to your body if you want to. And first I'm lifting my upper body up, so I'm stretching my back, and then come into a forward fold. Maybe coming all the way down onto the floor or staying on your forearms as I'm doing right now here, because my dogs are just loving on me and I cannot place myself all the way down. Now step back into downward facing dog. Look forward and move with your left leg into pigeon pose. Maybe coming right into the straight ankle pose or the heel closer to your body. Open up your chest, nice back bend, and then come forward fold. Staying on your forearms, or you can lay down all the way, however you'd like. Lift up one more time, lifting up your chest, and then move that leg back into a downward facing dog. Now looking forward, hopping into a seated position, we're going to come into friar log pose. My right leg is on top of the left one. I'm having the forearms on the floor and keeping my back as straight as possible, drawing in my belly, finding room and space. Now I'm opening up my right arm to the sky, lifting, extending, and placing it back down. Rise up and just switch the sides. Left leg is on top, flexing your feet, opening up your hip. Breathing, drawing in your belly, and then I extend my left arm up towards the sky and back down on the floor. Rise up, lift. I'm extending my left leg and placing my right foot close to my body, goes to my hip, and I'm binding behind my back, forward folding. You can do this without the bind. If it's not good for you, you can forward fold just as it is. Don't let that right knee fall to the side too much. Now rise up, and I'm going to lift up my right leg off the floor and then cradling it like a baby and just swaying it a little bit from side to side, opening up the hip a little bit more. Keep your back as straight as you can, and don't forget your bottom leg, that it doesn't flop to the side. Let's come into a compass pose. So I'm grabbing that right foot and opening up to the side, looking over to the left. You don't have to extend your leg all the way. It's okay to keep it a little bit bended. If it's not possible for you, just try. Don't push yourself too hard. As much as you can. And then come out of the pose very slowly. And here I was confused about the sides. Now let's have that left leg into the body. Right leg extended forward, binding behind the head and forward folding. Deep breaths. Finding space by drawing in the belly button. Breathing deeply. Remember your bottom leg, don't let it flop to the side. Now lift up that leg and cradle it in your arm just like a baby, opening up the hip very gently. Now you can always stay here or wrap then your left foot over your shoulder, just like you're wrapping a strap of your backpack over the shoulder. And you could stay here or come into compass pose, looking over to the right side, twisting above the navel, extending the leg as much as you can, breathing deeply. Draw in that belly button so you can make more room. Okay, let's come out of this pose. And we're going to come into a laying down position. Now, on the way down, just engage your abs and slowly as you can, come slowly down, always using this moment to engage your core. And then draw in that right leg into your chest. Maybe you don't have a dog in your way like I have. I have to move her a little bit. And then let's have that leg towards, or the foot towards the ear, just like you're having a phone call. And it's your phone. Draw it in. If you cannot do that yet, just draw it towards your forehead, that foot. Otherwise, you can try to extend the left leg all the way out, which is much harder. And then I'm going to extend my right leg and roll out my ankle to one direction, the other direction, just loosening up my ankle a bit, pointing and drawing in that leg towards me. And then again, having it towards my ear, the right foot towards the ear, and maybe extend it away from your body a little bit, knees on the floor if you can. And then I'm going to extend that leg again and draw it back into my chest, into my forehead, and then onto my ear. And then I try to have the leg behind the head. It's easiest to have the left foot on the floor. Stay here and breathe. If you cannot do this, just practice the foot against your ear, the right foot against your ear. Otherwise, stay here. This is one of the easier versions of leg behind the head. Now, if you draw in that right leg, left leg, it's also easier. And you can extend that leg maybe all the way, keeping your tailbone a little bit towards the floor though. And then I'm going to extend my left leg and draw it back in. Make it a little bit of a drill. Extend that leg a little bit towards the floor. You don't have to touch the floor. And then draw it back in. Stay with your rest of your body as still as you can. Extend it out. Draw the knee back in. Extend it one more time. Draw it closer. And then swing. Maybe you can sit up. If not, sit up and then try maybe to have the leg behind your head again. And if you have to adjust that foot a little bit to make it more comfortable, do so. Placing the hands in front of your heart, sitting up nice and tall. And then I'm going to forward fold. And you don't have to have your hands in front. You can have the hands to the side so they're helping you weight that it's not all the way on the neck. And I think this is as far as I went today. Now come up again and maybe lift up your body. And then placing yourself back down. The right leg is again over your shoulder and lifting up. Elephant pose. And let's come into kundanyasana to the right side. Stay lifted if you can. Smile, keep it going, draw in your belly, and then place yourself down. Extend your chest up, just loosening up your back muscles, placing your feet forward again, and again engage your core and slowly, very slowly, place yourself down on the floor. And then let's do everything on the left side. So first I extend my leg and circle my ankle from one side to the other side. Just do what is good for you here. And then I draw that left foot onto my forehead and onto my ear. Let that knee really come to the side. Open up. Breathe deeply. And then maybe extend that foot to the side, a little bit out, and then back onto the ear. Releasing, relaxing, and letting go. Again, I'm going to extend it out and towards my ear. And then I'm drawing that foot back into my chest, just opening up a little bit more, the hip, having it against my ear. And extending it up again. I really like that leg extensions. It's going to help me. Then draw in the left foot again towards my ear. Extend it back up and then maybe placing it behind your head. My dog is really a little bit in the way. So I have to scoot over, otherwise I cannot place my foot behind my head. So maybe you arrived in leg behind the head, or you're staying at just the left leg against your ear, holding the pose. Breathing deeply here. Try to relax. Now extend the right leg out and lift it back in, extend it. And extend it out again. And draw the right leg back straight towards your body. Extend it out. I can't press it on the floor, but maybe you can. Maybe you're more flexible, and then draw back that leg towards your chest. Move it out again. Draw on that knee. And then extend it again. And then swing a little bit, and maybe you can sit up. Otherwise, make yourself sit up and then place the foot behind your head again. Have your hands folded in front of your chest. It requires a lot of strength from the neck. Be careful. You can always stay here holding onto the foot. And then I move myself forward, and I'm not going to place my hands in front. You can, but I'm helping myself bearing the weight, having my left hand on the floor. Now rise up again and maybe come into a lift with the right leg extended. I'm going to come into elephant pose, having my left leg on my shoulder and lifting myself up. Before I come into kundanyasana, and maybe you're not having to come back down in between on the floor, smile a little bit, hold it here, and then just placing your bottom on the floor. Now come into a back extension again, lifting up your chest, breathing, opening up your back. And then come into a nice side body twist. I'm twisting over to the right side. I'm just going to come into a basic twist, nothing fancy. You can do whatever you like. Breathing, growing taller, drawing in your belly, smiling you made it. And then twist to the other side just to release some tension, and then switch sides. So now I'm twisting over towards the left. Really basic. Sometimes basic just feels so good. Nothing fancy anymore. Grow taller. Draw in your belly. Finding lots of room in your spine. And then come to the other side, just to release any kind of tension. Come out of the pose and come into Savasana. I don't like Savasana, but it's really good for me to activate the core after leg behind the head. So Savasana is a perfect pose. Try to keep your back straight, shoulders down, and then move forward into a lift and come back into a plank pose through chaturanga, upward facing dog, and then slowly move into a child's pose, coming on the fingertips. And then rising up, and I'm going to come into full camel. You can stay with your hands on your lower back and just come here into a smaller back bend. I'm going to come into full camel pose. Make sure that your chest is really lifted. You really, as if your chest is drawing you upward. Breathing deeply, holding the pose just a little bit longer before slowly coming out. Hands forward through chaturanga, upward facing dog, into a downward facing dog. Breathe, draw on your belly. We want to make sure that after leg behind the head, your body feels good afterward. So hop forward, come into a seated position, legs extended forward, and then come into Paschimottanasana. Whatever version you would like. I'm going to have my hands wrapped around the feet. You can round your back here. Just relaxing and releasing. Do whatever feels good for you. You can grab the toes. You can even come into a standing forward fold if that feels better for you. Just to release the back. Again, draw on that belly. Maybe you can move a little bit deeper without pushing, just releasing. Try to let go of everything. Try to be compassionate, whatever happened in leg behind the head. Now always staying compassionate. Your body might be ready today, it might not. You did good because you showed up and you practiced. And it's about the practice, not the depth of the pose. Sometimes we have to be reminded. Stay here, relax more, release more, and slowly rise up and come into a windshield wiping motion. I have my arms on my forearms, and really move your hip, opening up your hip at the end of the extension. And I'm going to come into Savasana. Fully relaxing. See what you still need to relax. Maybe wiggling your head from side to side. Just release now. I invite you to pray with me a healing prayer by Saint Padre Pio. It's a saint. I trust in your power and grace that sustain and restore me. Loving Father, touch me now with your healing hands, for I believe that your will is for me to be well in mind, body, and soul. Cover me with the most precious blood of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. Amen. Now slowly stretch your body and draw in your knees. You can still keep your eyes closed, moving from side to side, just rocking, coming back to the present moment. And then I'm rock and roll up and down, helping my spine to get a little bit of a massage. If that's not good for you, come over the side. And I'm going to come into a seated position, one leg in front of the other. And I think you know this move if you have practiced with me before. We're going to come into chest rolls to one side, just isolating the muscles. It's almost like cat-cow, just rounding motions, just with your chest, and then make the motion bigger. Include those hips, but keep your butt cheeks grounded on the floor. Really rounding it back and straightening it, coming to the front. And then come into a nice side body stretch. It doesn't matter with which side you start. You're going to do both. And then come rising up and stretch out your neck. Moving the chin a little bit down and up. And then I'm going to switch sides. And not only the legs, but also how I'm going to circle just with my chest. Isolate the muscles here and release all tensions that are left. And make the circles bigger. Include the hips, really opening up, rounding the back at the back and really straightening out the back and front. And then come to the side body stretch on the other side. Both butt cheeks on the floor and the shoulder stays open. Breathe. And then roll out your neck to the other side. Maybe you lift the chin and move it down just to release any kind of tension. And then move the head up and down, up and down. Really releasing any tension from the neck. Look over one shoulder. Look over the other shoulder. Hold for a second. Look over the other shoulder again. And to the other side. Breathe. Inhale. Big inhale. Lift yourself up. And exhale. Hands to your side. 2 more times. Lift. Inhale. Inhaling light. And exhale. Exhaling darkness. 1 more time in your own time. And thank you so much for practicing with me. Subscribe and like my video if you did. God bless you.